The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world that the nice guys didn't exist. Need an education on how to grow your business? The Nice Guys are here to help. Learn about great customer service, networking, and how just being nice can help you prosper. Now, here are your hosts, Doug Sandler and Strickland Bonner.
Hey, Nice Guy community. Welcome back. Welcome back. My name is Strickland Bonner. On the other side of the microphone, Mr. Doug Sandler. Together, we are the Nice Guys on business.
It's Friday. You know why that's good?
Why is it good?
Because I get to work tomorrow.
I don't. I'm off for the next 2 weeks. I got to figure out what I'm going to be doing.
I have, but are you off for that? So you're off between now and the end of the year?
New Year's is my next gig, 12/31, yeah.
That's crazy. I have 6 gigs between the 15th and the 30th, and then I'm off New Year's Eve. When are we ever going to see each other again?
Well, you could. Why don't I come and be the DJ for some of your gigs? I could use the money.
I could do that, Strick.
Yeah, I'm not a really good DJ, though.
Yeah, but I'm not either. So between the two of us, we could be, but we're really good entertainers, and that is really all it takes to run a party.
All right, we can talk about that offline, because today we got an interview we got to get to with Mr. Brad Moore. He runs Fundamental Applications Corporation. This is apps that are aimed at college students specifically. So if you're trying to reach millennials, it's a great one. But here's what I found really interesting looking up info on Brad. Did you know that Jeffrey Hazlett is on their board of directors for Fundamental Applications?
I did not know that.
August 11th of this year, Jeffrey Hazlett was appointed to the board of directors for Fundamental Applications. I
did not know that. So, Nice Guy community, in case you don't know, I've been recently named the director of partnerships with C-Suite Radio through Jeffrey Hazlett, and which is really cool because he has so many relationships out there in the world. I wonder if he knows that he is on their board of directors. Do you think he might know? Is he pictured there, or is it?
Well, no, this was just like a press blurb about it.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, Jeffrey's got his hands in everything. And Brad, really good guy, really good guest, talks about all of the differences between millennials, Generation Z, and baby boomers. And I think there's even a part in the when you mentioned the college thing, it sparked a memory about me not understanding the whole mentality of millennials. But we talk about that. We chat about that in the interview. Brad's a good guy. He definitely is a motivated guy, understands his business for sure, and talk about a guy that really understands the wave of the future and millennials.
Yeah, he's got his company does a bunch of apps, and actually his website, the company is Fundamental Applications Corporation, and his website is Fun App Corp. I like that, Fun.
Oh, that's good. Yeah,
and it is all apps that are geared towards millennials. Things like it's like a Craigslist type of thing, but it's specifically for like college students to sell to other college students. So it's a little more closed and a little safer. It's really, really interesting. And, Doug, I want to talk about like our guests this week. What a variety we have had this week. Coot Blackson talking about, motivation, Ariel Hyatt talking about cyber PR, and now Brad Moore, Fundamental Applications and how to attract millennials. I mean, you run, we run the gamut. You have found some great people to interview.
Well, and right now, the way that I'm looking at it, or the way that I'm seeing it, if I look at my schedule over the last, I would say 3 or 4 months, and looking forward over the next month or two, they're finding me. And then we really have what's given me an opportunity. What's happened over the last several months is that we've had so many people that have reached out that I can actually take time, look through their bio, look through some information, look at their social media following, look at the type of work that they do. It's not like I only have 3 people, so I have 3 people that I have to put on the show. We have dozens of people that unfortunately that I don't put on the show because they're just not a right fit for our community. So it makes sense for me to get people that are right in the power zone. Between Coot, Ariel, and Brad, I just thought there were 3 really unique guests. And wait till the next few weeks that are coming up. We have some great guests that are coming.
Well, and that's why we're doing 3 interviews a week for a while until maybe we get caught up or, until you all tell us something different. So Nice Guy community, please feel free to chime in and tell us what you think of the new format. 3 interviews a week and just 2 with Doug and I shooting the shit. And, I think it's going really well. And I know we got great interviews, so it's all good.
All right, so let's head over to Brad Moore. He's going to be interviewed today in the Nice Guys on Business podcast. Let's get to it. Brad Moore. Our guest today on the podcast is Brad Moore, and Brad is the CEO of Fundamental Applications Corp. And from what I've been able to research, if you're in or market to the millennial and Gen Z peeps that are out there, this is definitely a good spot for you to tune in. Welcome to the Nice Guys on Business podcast, Brad.
Hey, Doug. How are you today?
I'm doing great. I know we have a little delay in timing from where you're in Canada, right?
Yeah, everything's slower up here, right?
Everything's just a little bit slower.
It's got to be translated to French and English at the same time.
Wow. You know what's really cool is I was having dinner with my wife yesterday, and we were we're on this diet called the Whole30. I don't know if you ever heard of the Whole30, but we're on this diet, and we're in the restaurant, and I'm hearing a couple that is Russian talking to their kids. Their kids are talking to each other. There was like a 6-year-old and a 9-year-old, let's say. The 6 and 9-year-old talking to each other in English, and the parents are talking to the kids in Russian, and the kids are talking back to the parents in Russian. And we just kept thinking, that's got to be confusing as shit for a kid to have to remember. How do you know? So do you speak French and English?
No, my gosh, no. But my kids do. My daughter is 12, and she's fully bilingual, right? And my son's 9, and I remember we were in Toronto, and some kid from Montreal was he didn't speak English for whatever reason, and he was having confusion, and my son just piped up and resolved it, and I was like high-fiving him. I thought that, I do speak 2 languages. I speak English and slang, right? Which just means I speak badly English.
Right. So what is the native language for where you live right now is what?
Oh, it's English.
It's all English. Okay,
it's Western Canada. It's English.
But there's a contingent in Canada that speaks, I guess, as you get closer to is it Quebec or Montreal?
Well, Quebec's the province.
Yeah.
Right. And so Montreal's the major city.
Help me with.
I was going to say that's a very
101.
That's a very American approach from you. Yeah. So Quebec's the province. Montreal is there's like 7 million people in Quebec, right? And I think my ex is from Montreal, and I bet you out of those 7 million, probably 6.8 million of them all speak French, and then probably out of that, 5 million of them are totally bilingual, which is pretty impressive.
That's great.
For a population of 34 million people in the whole country, right?
No, that's really good. So let me ask you, while I have a Canadian on the interview on our show here, what do you think about the shit show going on in the United States right now? Now, just so nice guy community, so you know this, we're airing this interview after the election, and I don't even know what the results are. But we're doing the interview probably 2 weeks before the election, so we have no idea what's about to happen. But what's going with the whole shit show? What is happening here? What's going on, Brad? And do you have any room in your house for me to come and live with you?
Yeah.
I'm going
to do the sensible Canadian thing and reserve my comments, right? And skate around that one. But listen, you remember watching Jimmy Kimmel when the mayor of Toronto, Rob Ford, and he was like off his rocker? He was down there. We gave you one. You're giving us a couple back, right?
Okay. All right. That's fair. Let's get on to what, a lot of times the nice guy community that listens to our show, they're like, hey, Doug, we know that this is called the Nice Guys on Business. When the fuck are you ever going to talk about business? we usually reserve just a very small portion of our show, Brad, for business. So you're one of the fortunate ones that's actually going to pipe in to share exactly some, you're going to help us to reach the next frontier, which is actually sharing business on a business show. That's right. So cool. I was watching one of your cool videos. Let me even back up. I want to go back further. What is it that you do so we can give everybody an idea of what exactly Fundamental Applications Corp is, Brad?
Cool. So we're what we call ourselves an app incubator. So really what that means is we go out, there's lots of people building really cool stuff, right? It's just popping up every day. I think on the App Store, there's like 1.8 million apps on there.
Yeah, crazy.
And so, being an ex-Kodak guy, my job is to go find something that's really neat that people could use in their daily lives. And we deal with millennials and Gen Zs, or as we say in Canada, Gen Zs, right?
Yeah.
And, our job is really to attach some value to that for the user, because when you attach value to it for the user, then out of that comes value to the company.
Mm-hmm.
And So we've actually got 4 apps. One we've got turned off right now, but we've got 3 apps that are active, and they all target college and university students globally. And the whole idea is provide them a better communication experience.
Yeah, I was watching one of the really cool marketing videos that you have, I think, as I was doing a few weeks ago before you canceled the first interview. Thanks, Brad. What happened? Something come up in your life? I don't know. What could be more important than the next
Those PR guys, man. Nothing to do with me. I was ready.
You were completely buffered from that. You probably didn't even know that you were canceled.
Yeah, exactly.
So I was watching one of the videos that you have on LinkedIn, and it was talking about, I guess this is one of the apps that you have, Foro. Really cool concept on how to sell stuff. So is Foro an example of something your company created, or is it something that you're marketing as a service?
Well, so what we do is we go out and we find an app, we buy it. A lot of times we engage the developer in a contract, and then what we do is we take it to market. So Foro is a good example of that. There's 2 apps that came out of the same development or developer, which was Foro and Truth, and it was a university student at Stanford, where all great things come from. Mm-hmm. And the idea was the guy wanted to sell stuff and just didn't want to sell it on Craigslist, which is a very common story nowadays, right? Like, it's like one of those things, like, one of my investors contacted. He goes, "Hey man," he goes, "you should let the tall grass guys know that some kid was trying to sell something on Craigslist and he got robbed, right? And apparently he got a beat down in the process."
Oh, geez.
And it's gotten so bad actually that in Vancouver, the Vancouver Police Department actually has a room that you can use to do Craigslist transactions, believe it or not, in their headquarters, because it's just weird sometimes.
Hey, but just so you know, I spend a lot of time, or I've been to Vegas many times, and they say, what do you think the most stupid place for somebody to actually try to hold up it would be a gun store. So they have people actually go into the gun store and try to hold up the fucking place. And it's like, come on, guys, they have more machine power, blow your ass out the door. So, okay.
Yeah, I know. And yeah, exactly. And there's an automatic rifle range right around back.
Right, yeah. Let's really take care of it.
You'll get used as a target if you try to rob it there.
Sure. Okay, so keep going.
So the idea was he just wanted to sell stuff, and so I think when I talked with him, he says, "Well, hey, listen," he goes, he just felt that a lot of Facebook had kind of abandoned the university market. Whether that's true or not, it's not really for me to say, but so he just wanted to create a mechanism where you could sell a textbook, buy a bike, sell an old laptop, sell some furniture that you don't want to store at the end of each year, right? And the idea was like, why deal with somebody who lives 30 miles away? What value has he got to you when there might be somebody in your dorm who's 2 floors down that has exactly what you need or wants what you have? Mm-hmm. And it's a really kind of cool app. It takes 15 seconds to basically create an account. You log in, you snap a picture, you post it, and if somebody else is using the app, they could just scroll on it and find it. And, like I said, you walk across the campus, you just walk downstairs and the business is done, right? So, and when you think about it, there's one of the things that was kind of cool, like what we did, my management team did, is we actually changed the login so you didn't have to use your university email address, because nobody knew it. Like, that was the problem. Who remembers their unlv.edu.us, right? And so we changed it so it geofenced. So if you're anywhere within, let's say you're in LA, it would find every university within 10 miles of you, like UCLA, Riverside University or college or Riverside or whatever. And so the idea is then you log in, then you use your Facebook Connect to confirm, and you're in the environment. So doing that, we're actually able to load up. I think right now the guys are just telling me there's close to 8,000 universities in 8 different countries loaded into the system. Yeah.
So you share some pretty cool initiatives. And they're pretty bold too. You talk about taking on an organization or I don't know, a cloud-based something called like Craigslist. You take in a marketplace of buying and selling goods. That's a pretty lofty goal, but I like it. So share how you can actually now bring that down to a level where people are actually, it works, and people are hearing about it. I want to be able to take on Facebook, but fuck, I don't have a clue how to do it. So how do you get it down so people even know about what you're offering?
Yeah, no, so that's a great question. So one of the things you always got to think, what's the end game in this for the user, right? So what are they really trying to do? And I've got a 12-year and a 9-year-old, and, I just watch them, and I'm watching them on their phones, and, I can argue with them to get off their phones, but that's how they communicate. And you got to remember, I remember I used to be a chief revenue officer at a company, and I gave up trying to get people off their mobile devices during the workday, because one of the things that I would forget is I would think they were talking to a device, but really they're talking to a network of people in behind them. And you got to remember that, right? That's just like you and I hanging out at a pub with our buddy, or playing pickup football on the weekend, and we're talking. That's just how they do it. And the advice and input they came was actually adding value to what they were doing. And so keeping that in my mind, I started thinking about, so if what we're just trying to do is communicate, what's the key thing about campus and college life? It's very simple. It's campus and college life. That's your ecosphere, right? That's all you live and breathe. When I went to university, I was in a fraternity and I played rugby, and that's all I lived and breathed.
Right. So how is it? Okay, so share in your estimation the difference between, let's say, millennials and Gen Z, and just if nice guy community, if you don't know, Gen Z, that's everybody that was born literally with an iPad and an iPhone in their hand, almost coming out of the womb. The doctor is now giving them an iPad or an iPhone and saying, "Hey, let's text the world and say that you're here now." So it's even younger than millennials. So share the difference between millennials, Gen Zs, and the rest of the world, because there is some unique advantage to being born with this technology at your fingertips.
For sure. Well, you know what? Listen, it's one of the things we were talking about before. I remember, I served 12 years in the Army and been on 5 different deployments. And one of the things that they beat into your mind is because people can't multitask, so they beat in muscle memory, right? So something happens, you do this. What I believe I see is happening, and I really see it with my own kids, is I see muscle memory. Right? So the ability to kind of do things instinctively. Millennials kind of grew into that. Gen Zs are developed with it from an early age.
Yeah, my son actually, he picks up, when he's talking to me, he is texting at the same time, and I see his thumbs moving a million miles an hour, but he has direct eye contact with me. And I'm like, how are you doing? How are you? Well, he's 20. How are you doing that?
Exactly. And, it's kind of cool because the fact is I'm an older guy. I don't want to say, I'm turning 51 in December, but one of the things when I see this happening with kids, I got to remember, once again, go back to that comment that I made about you and I just sitting in the pub and having a beer. This is just how they communicate, and that's okay. It's instinctive muscle memory, and so understanding that, we just need to think about how we facilitate that, and that's what these apps really are about. They're just about facilitation. So it goes back to that comment about, or your question about, how do you take on the Craigslist? How do you take on that? Well, if Craigslist is about everybody, then 4.0 is about university students. If in the buy sell, we have another app called Opin It. If Instagram is about everybody, then Opin It is about university lifestyle. And so Opin It, just as you know, is a very cool app, a company that we just bought this summer. And basically the way that it works is you open up the app and you post things similar to Instagram, but what you do is you get it from a mobile. It opens up a mobile browser. So anything that you're interested in, you grab. So let's say, for example, you play varsity tennis at UCLA, and you're happy that Serena Williams won Wimbledon. Well, you just type into the Google window Serena Williams Wimbledon, and you screen grab that. You can get scores. You can grab videos. But what's really cool is you can grab emoticons and attach it to it and post it. And the reason I bought that, I said, well, you know what? I think if kids are doing that, we can get 10,000 posts a day from college, university kids about things happening on campus, and then we match product for sale from other students from 4.0 onto it. Basically, imagine this: the 2 different apps talking to each other.
Yeah.
So you didn't have to have both apps. And so, of all the used tennis rackets for sale at UCLA showed up underneath that 4.0 Pin It post about Wimbledon. Wouldn't that be cool? And so really, what am I doing there? I'm not doing anything different than you and I, once again, sitting in a pub, and you're talking about, watching Wimbledon or the U.S. Open. Yeah. And I'm all like, you know what, dude? I want to go buy I've been thinking about getting a tennis racket, and because that's how things happen, right? That's how.
Right.
It's just really, it's an interesting, cool way to just facilitate conversation. And that's what we're doing. And interestingly enough, and people say, so, what is it you're trying to achieve? I said, well, I've got a really cool graphic and it shows a university lecture hall. And I have my graphics guy emboss the name Foro on the back of every chair. I'll send it over. It's really neat to look at. And I say, we own the seat, because Foro in Spanish means forum. And that's all we're doing. We're facilitating an area of an experience. Because if you try to always solve it with technology, like, put it this way, if you put the technology before the experience, it's self-defeating. You know that, right?
Right.
It's kind of like Android versus iOS. Well, Android's a brand, iOS is technology, but they're both technologies. So what we're really trying to do is just create a kick-ass experience for the students and always make sure that we're facilitating. So that way I can keep going out and go buy new apps and fix them and make them better and keep throwing them into the mix and make them cool for kids to use.
I got to connect you with.
So that's why I think we can go up at those guys.
And I definitely want to connect you with one of the other guys that's been on the show that represents me in the speaking world for the college market. His name is Casey Cornelius, and he runs a company called For College for Life. And he has one of the folks that's on the market, on the circuit with me. Her name is Sharon Bowie, and Sharon created a company called Frills. And I don't think they have an app, but it is all about the sorority and the fraternity.
Oh my God, yeah, you have to. You have to. It's such. It's been something and the reason why is because, listen, I was part of the Delta Kappa Epsilon, and as all my friends, they would say what were they? I don't know, Sigma Chi, like Brad Pitt and all this kind, and mine was George Bush, Senior, Dan Quayle, right?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know. It's okay. I've lived with. As I'd like to say, well, at least we had the guys that had the nuclear weapons, right? But but
totally true. Hey,
but the thing is with fraternities is you want to do things, and if you can like get in behind something that actually helps promote a better image or a better view, or even safe selling on campus, right? You know what I mean? Like that's a big part of this, right?
Absolutely.
It's safe selling. So.
Oh, that's very cool. I definitely will connect you with that. I'll send you an email after the interview, and we'll get that connected. So help the nice guy community, because not everyone regularly markets to this audience of of Gen Zs and millennials at all, and a lot of times people they're kind of afraid because they don't really feel like they don't know, they really don't understand it. So how can this type of audience that does not necessarily regularly market to this group generate awareness about their products and services? Is it all digital bytes and bits, or is there some other way that's possible?
Well, once again, elevate the conversation. What's the end game on this, right? The end game is I always challenge people on this. And I say, and I go back and Jeff Hazlett and I have talked a lot about this, and Jeff is kind of a marketing
guru,
yeah. And so the whole point of like always that Kodak, Kodak moment. Well, what's that moment really about? It was about capturing a memory on a piece of film, right? And so you have to think about it. Why do people use an app? Right? It's very simple. Because they get something out of it, right? Mm-hmm. It really is about that. So. I think what happens is we use a lot of terms, especially as older, and the guys trying to sell things to them where like, oh my God, like they make the decisions, they do this, and we what happens is we get away from the fact that these are still human beings that have experiences and feelings, and most importantly, they have a wallet attached to their ass. And so what we have to think about is what's the end game of them using anything, and if the end game is for them to have an experience, and they have that experience through creating and sharing their own content. And that's really all that they're doing. And you know what? All a content creation is, it's very simple. It's a conversation. Once again, it's no different than you and I doing this right now. It really isn't, right? And things of interest and sharing, and it's just they can do it faster and quicker because of technology. And if you keep that in mind, right, you really keep that in mind and let them explore it, it makes more sense. So I'll go back to what we do with Opin It and and 4.0. It makes a lot of sense that I let the kids create their own lifestyle, right? It's kind of like, they do their own lifestyle posts. And then I have the 4.0 post match. It's because really what it is, it's if you had, let's say, somebody on Instagram posting pictures all day long of like trips and things they're interested in traveling, and then every Expedia post underneath that related to that showed up underneath, that would make a lot of sense.
Oh,
right?
yeah, it totally would make sense.
Okay, so it's what we do. We only deal with retailers and brands. The only time they run an ad with our app is if it's related to the content that the kids posted. So if you want to sell, if you're Adidas, you want to sell discounted, tennis shoes. The only time that kid's going to see it is if there's 10 pinup posts on Wimbledon and there's used tennis rackets. Then the ad generates anything related to do with tennis from the retailers or the brands. And so, once again, it's the idea. You go into the grocery store and you're having a barbecue, you're going to buy things that are barbecue related, right? You're going to buy steak, you're going to buy chicken, barbecue sauce.
That's why they put all those things in the same aisle with the charcoal coals and they put the skewers for your all the suggestive selling techniques.
Yeah, 100%. And so nothing's really ever changed. It's just that, just remember, they're creating the content, just match the products to the content, right? And you got to keep it simple. It's always the simplest things. And it's no different. I think Google's got you go on Google and you start looking up mountain biking. Next thing you know, you've got like,
over on Facebook, you got the helmet and the clip-in things for your feet and all that stuff are showing up as ads. I'm like, how the hell they know that?
Well, 100%. And so that's from you looking at things. But it gets even more powerful when you start creating your own content. You're actually generating. And that's why OpenIt is such a curve off from what I consider the other content creation apps, that you actually go into Google, you find something, you post it. So you've got to do you actually go in and you create some layered information, you post it. And the people in your network that respond to it, and what's absolutely very cool, and we were doing this way before Instagram or Facebook, is that there gets emoticons are attached, right? We have like 78 different emoticons. So I can actually go to a retailer or a brand and say, you know what, it's interesting that somebody put something up about Wimbledon, about Serena winning. There's actually 5 happy faces out of 10, 3 sad faces, and 2 like pals or whatever. But we sold 15 tennis rackets on that campus. So a really smart retailer or a really smart brand would probably want to run an ad with us that focused around Serena winning Wimbledon, and then trying to sell a pair of tennis shoes, right? See what I mean?
Totally incredible. Wow, so you're getting it on all sides, from the consumer, and then from somebody that could potentially be an advertiser too.
Yeah, think about it. The beautiful thing with them doing their own content creation, they tell you, because it's all online, it's all digital, it's all measurable. It's like an ongoing live focus group. They tell you exactly what to do and how to give it to them.
All right, Brad. So we're moving from the idea of you being a product holder and services holder and creator of all these things, and you're now a business owner. So I'm going to go through this round. It's called rapid fire. It's just five questions, really easy. 20 seconds to answer each question. At the end of 20 seconds, I don't have a buzzer. I just think that's too rude. So I'm not going to stop you. You can't use any lifelines, but you got to answer the questions. And these will be stuff that very readily available to in your brain. So 20 seconds to answer, and I'm going to do my best not to step on you, but of course I'm going to fuck it up, and I'll probably interrupt you. All right, so be relatable. Now this is as a business owner. Be relatable. What do you suck at?
Expecting everybody else to know exactly where I'm at any particular time.
It's always challenging, not only mentally but physically too, right?
Yeah. I'm a hard character.
Be transparent. How did you pay your bills in the beginning when you first got going?
30, 60, and 90. Everybody within 30 days is who you need next month. Everybody in 90 is people you don't need next month.
Okay. All right. Interesting. So you just relied upon are you saying you relied upon the 30-day people?
No, well, when you're talking about paying your bills, you've always got to think about, what you need next month to keep the lights on, the business going, and those are the people that get paid first, right?
No, absolutely. Oh, for sure. Oh, are you talking about when you paid your bills? I got you. All right. Yeah. So be confident. What do you do as an entrepreneur that is pretty much as good as it gets?
Well, you got to get up. I think the key thing is you got to get up and just always keep your mind on the end game, right? Just never take it off. The road's going to change. There'll be roadblocks. There'll be, washed out roads, but you just keep finding a way to get through it, and just the confidence comes from knowing that you're going to get up and work hard every day. Hard work solves everything.
I love the fact that a couple times during this interview you've talked about this end game. What do you see at the end of the tunnel, or what do you see at least along the way as a part of it? And again, this comes to the part where I told you I wasn't going to interrupt you now. But it's so good. I mean, the end game is such a great theory. The thing I'm pulling away is that theme of end game is so critical. No matter if you're marketing or you're growing your business, it's about that.
Yeah, well, people listen. Life's an evolution, right? Whether you're in your personal relationship, a business relationship. I used to have a sergeant in the Army. He goes, "If your feet are still moving, it's a good day. You're not pushing up flowers, right? It's you have to keep moving and going towards it." And I'm one of those people where the end game actually justifies the journey, and it's hard sometimes, but it's work. It's not always pleasant, but at the end of it, there's really something for me in accomplishing a goal. And so if you give up, you don't accomplish the goal. If and it's funny, from all the things I've heard in special forces training, I used to be a paratrooper. If you quit, you don't know. If you go all the way through it, then at least you can check it off your list and have the accomplishment or the feeling of accomplishment in doing it. Have to keep your feet moving at all times.
Or you could at least say, "Boy, fuck that up." Really good.
Well,
really.
We all fuck things up, right?
Right.
And the whole goal, the objective in business is to close the fuck up doors faster and open up the right up doors so you get to the right door. It's not because listen, if I can't control what goes in my own brain, how can I control what goes on everywhere else in the world, right? So you have to shuck and jive, but if you're in forward momentum, the answers will come. You just don't give up.
Nice guy community. That is tweetable. Close the fuck up doors as quickly as possible. That actually is a really good one. That's very tweetable. All right, next one. We're on question 4 of 5. Be humble. What experts did you need to call upon to make shit happen?
Always be humble. Be humble and be grateful for what you have. I constantly call on, everything from a spiritual aspect to there's a whole bunch of us that are veterans that served over the war in Yugoslavia, that I kind of relate on those guys as my bread and butter of my soul. Mm-hmm. I relate upon people in business that I know, this was my first kick of the can with the public markets. It's very simple. You measure the gap, where you are, where you need to be, and you get the right people in the seats. I talk to my CTO. When I talk to my CTO, I don't tell him about programming. He tells me, and I say, how does that fit to the bigger model, right? Always surround yourself with good people, and the only thing you have to really, really do is keep your feet moving. And if you're humble and you don't think that you're it, but you're part of something bigger, it will all come together. Might not be easy, but it will happen. I've been amazed day after day how you think things aren't going well, and then something pops out, and then you grasp on that and you make that flower.
Yeah. But you ran way over 20 seconds on that one. I didn't even interrupt you, Brad. You got to stay with the rules.
That's because you owed me one for jumping in.
All right, and last one here, and then I have one personal question for you. Be realistic. Where are you going in the next 90 days, and how far into the future can you actually see?
Okay, so in the next 90 days, we project that we'll probably, right now we're about 250,000 users. We've got a target in the next 90 days. We're going to actually crest over that magic million user mark, right? We've got some great things lined up. Let's look at, our year end by next March, we'll have 3 million users. 3 million users should be dropping about $400,000 a month into the kitty. Will be fully revved up. in revenue with these 3 apps working together.
And we totally are rooting for you over here. I mean,
Thank
stuff like that, when you're able to come up with a number and you're actually to you're saying it's not just a concept anymore. It's now you've got asses in apps. You've got people clicking buttons and enjoying your app, and that's when it starts to get really, really crazy and really fun. And and the other thing which was really cool is you led with the number of people. You didn't lead with the dollars. I always look at things as I never look at it in dollars because dollars easily evaporate. People don't easily evaporate in my mind.
Bingo. You know what? We're just like a mall, right? Our job is to get people in the mall and give enough value for them to walk around. And I really want your listeners, especially us older guys, when we think about, wow, if you have a mall and, hey, listen, that's all apps are. They're just digital malls. People walk in, and there's still people with a wallet attached to their ass. Never forget that.
Yeah, we try not to over here. Although we haven't made any money. We're trying to figure out how to make money. If you could actually figure out a way for us, I think Jeffrey is working on that for me right now too, but it's okay. I mean, in the meantime, I'm having a boatload of fun doing this podcast. We're 240 or something episodes now that this show airs, probably 260 episodes into the show. So, okay, you have time for just one quick personal question, and then we'll conclude?
I do.
All right, excellent. Do you have you have your cell phone anywhere near you?
I do.
Excellent. Is it an iPhone or something inferior?
It's a 6 Plus.
Oh, yeah, it's the biggie. Okay, excellent. Go to your picture app for a second. Tell me what's the last photo that you took, and you can't lie about it.
Good question. Let's see. Photos. Actually, you know what it was? You really want to know what it was?
Yeah,
it was
totally.
It was a screenshot of an email that I sent to somebody.
Okay. All right. Excellent.
Is that just sad?
That's pretty boring. It's pretty.
But you know what? And then and then the one before that was me giving the CFO. I actually took 2 pictures. One of me because we're publicly traded. We're going through our year-end audit, which is normal. And so I've got a pile of receipts on the floor that I was working on all weekend, and then I've got the final product.
That's pretty good. Yeah, we had I think when this show airs, about a month before the show airs, we had a Dominatrix on the show, and when I asked her what her photo was, it just was like a knee-jerk response. What's your photo? And she actually told me. I'm like, holy shit! I don't know if we can actually say that, but that's fine.
Yeah, no. So that just shows you what I do is.
Well, you're almost 51, and I'm hitting 52 next month, so I'm 51 right now. So I respect the fact that you took a lot of screenshots. It's pretty much the only thing I had to do with my phone.
The other how much of memory is it's one of two things. It's either work or the kids. So you know how it works.
Oh well, I thought at 51 they just told you never to pass a bathroom without taking a leak. That's what I always thought was the lesson I learned as a 51.
No, you don't need it because you just do that when you wake up in the middle of the night, anyways.
That's true. And last and final, go to your texting app and tell me what is the last text message you sent and received. I
just gave the thumbs up to my girlfriend.
Oh, very nice.
Literally.
All right.
Like right before we got on.
All right. So that was you sending to her, and what was the last one that was received by you?
Was her.
That was her also.
Confirming dinner tonight.
Oh, very nice. You guys not on a stupid Whole30 plan like a diet, are you? Like I am right now.
No. She won't let me get away with that, right?
No bullshit like diet and stuff. Well,
yeah,
Brad,
no. She's she's pretty good. Like we do, we're in Vancouver, right? So there's endless supply of sushi here, so.
all Canadians, an endless supply of Canadian mounted police.
Yeah,
and sushi. Of course, we know that. Hey, Brad, if our nice guy community wanted to get in touch with you, how can they do that?
Sure. Anybody can always send me an email directly at bmoore at theforo.com.
All right, excellent. We'll make sure we put all of Brad's information in the show notes. Access to his products will be there too, and all of the crazy zany antics that we just recorded. We'll make sure not to put anything that's edited. We sometimes edit out some part of the show, but that's only because we're way too offensive to air it. But I think we remain within the guidelines today, Brad. Special thanks to Brad Moore for being a part of our show. Information in the show notes. Nice guy community. Never underestimate the power of nice. All right, Steve O'Brien, go ahead and take us out of here.
For the nice guys on business, I'm Steve O'Brien. And may the force be with them. They need all the help they can get.